Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Sarjun. I'm a data science trainer, a lecturer, and an industry practitioner in this field, and a mentor to the youth. This is the 8th in the series of Basic R Programming course. Before I start, I would like to request that you follow me on my socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Send me a message, DM, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So with that, let's get on to today's segment. Okay. Let me just prepare my screen. Okay, so today we're going to be covering packages. So there are different types of libraries and packages that can be used with R, and here are some useful ones. As I said, it's not exhaustive, so it's just covering some common packages. So as I said, it's not exhaustive, yeah, but these are some very interesting packages. Okay, so the three packages I'm going to cover in this segment is dplyr, lubridate, and tidyquant. So let's start off with dplyr. So dplyr provides essential shortcuts for subsetting, rearranging, summarizing, and joining datasets at quick pace. So we're going to do some of the actions that dplyr provides us. So let me just install the packages. I've already installed it, but I'm just going to show you how to install it as well so that you do and are able to use this tool as well. So after that, after you install, you have to call out for the dplyr package. So let me run this line first. As you can see, it's installing here, right? It takes a while, right? And it's done. Now I'm going to call out. Since I already installed it, it's quite fast, but if not, yours might take a bit of time. So it might also ask you to restart your system. So just follow that as well. So let's assign a variable df with the Star Wars dataset. You can see that the dataset is here. So I assign it with the Star Wars dataset. And I want to print the df, which is the Star Wars dataset, right? So I print df. Okay, so let me assign it first. Let me run this. And then let me print it. You can see that it prints out the Star Wars dataset. And you want to know what type, what is this data type? Print type of this df as well. You want to know what data type is this. And when you see, it's a list. So why is it a list? Because it has multiple vector type of data, right? And it's like a list, it's like a vector or a list within a list, right? So it is basically a data frame, or otherwise known as a table, right? So here it is actually multiple lists within a list kind of a concept. So it's a data frame, right? So in this data frame, you can see that you have the whole data. It's about 87 rows of 14 columns, but you don't see the whole data set. There are different ways to call out the different data sets, but one way is you can click on this environment here and click on this. It will show you the entire data set. Like at least here you can just eyeball it, right? You can see the whole data set, right? It's quite nice. It's visually pleasing as well, right? And yeah, the other way, there is another way using this dplyr package to view the entire data set. I'll show that to you soon, right? For that, let's just move on and then I'll show that to you. So one way to extract only the gender that are masculine. So gender is different from sex. So masculine and gender gender and sex are usually the same thing, usually. But in this case, there are two different columns. One is gender, the other one is sex. So in this case, we are looking at just gender. So let's pull out gender. So let's look at masculine df. Don't ask me why this is the case. This is not done by me, right? This data set is just a data set I'm using, right? So usually sex and gender are the same thing, right? Double equals to. So we are first going to pull out all the masculine data set. So the way that you do it is you put the df and then use this pipe filter. So this is called the pipe operator. And you can see this pipe operator uses this percentage sign more than percentage sign. So it's like an arrow. And then it's saying filter gender equals to masculine. So that's what we are trying to do. There's a typo here, masculine, okay. And then display the data frame variable, masculine. We are going to display all the rows. So the way to do it, so we're not doing all the rows first. We're doing, we'll just do just the usual one first before we do all the rows, okay? So let me do this first. Okay, see, I've already filtered it out. Now I print just the masculine df, right? Now, the masculine df, gives me all, it filters out, you can see all the gender here is all masculine. If I were to click on this, I should see 66 observations. All 66 observations out of 87 observations are all masculine, right? In the masculine DF. I can also do that. Okay, but here I am not seeing the whole thing. What if I want to see all the rows? Same thing. I can just copy this just to show you. I'm just filtering one more time. And instead of doing this, instead of doing a print DF, I'm going to do masculine DF, right? I'm going to use the pipe operator, percentage, okay? And I'm going to use the print, n equals to infinity. That means I'm not setting any n number, right? And then I run. So I run this first, and then I run this. So it prints out everything. You can see that now in my screen, I see everything, right? It prints out everything. 66 rows, all 66 rows are printed here. So that's how this print all function works, right? So that's using the pipe operator as well, again, right? Pipe operator to print. Now, what if we have more than one filter, right? So in this case, I have a new DF, right? This new DF, percentage, filter. Firstly, I want to filter on two parts. Eye color, double equals to blue. So those eye color that is blue. Again, I do another filter, right? Mass less than or equals to 90, right? So two filters, and that should give me the new DF, right? Display the data frame, new DF, using the same thing here. So I want to print out, I want to print out all the rows. So I just need to type here new DF instead of masculine DF. Okay, so let me run this first. And let me run this. So it gives me all. I have 8 of such data sets where the eye color is blue, as well as my mass is less than or equals to 90. The highest value. So if I want to click on this data as well, I can also see them. It's nicer visually as well. So as you can see, they're all blue, and the mass is all less than or equals to 90. The highest here is 89. So this is the highest of the less than equals to 90 lah, right? Because 89 is the closest to 90, right? Okay, let's move on. Let's arrange the data frame. Okay, arrange the data frame by decreasing value of one column. So how do we do that, right? So we use the arrange option or function within the dplyr. So we create one that is height df, right? Same, if you notice, I'm not changing the actual df because I'm using it for again and again to show different things. So whenever you do any kind of transformation, it's always apt to keep the original data frame as it is, so that you can always refer back to it when required. Instead of if you make any changes, then there'll be some issues. So I use the arrange function. Inside the arrange function, I set descending height. So you'll go from the highest to the lowest, right? And yeah, so that is what it is, right? So I can copy this. I can change the new df print to height df because I want to print out height df instead, right? Infinity, I want to print out the whole thing. So let me run this, and so I got my height df. So now it's all arranged by height. So the largest height to the smallest height, and all the NAs at the bottom. So if it's quite difficult to see this, you can always click here as well. 87 observations. You can see the height 264 is the highest, then 234, 229, 228, 224, 216, so on and so forth, all the way down until 94, 88, 79, and all the NAs are below. Okay. So far, so good. Take 5 minutes now. Okay, install and import the dplyr library. Assign the data frame variable df with Star Wars table data frame value. Assign a data frame variable hair df with hair color consisting of black, brown, or white value. Then display the data frame variable hair df output. So it sounds a bit. Try this. Pause this video and try this, and then we will continue shortly. Okay, how do we tackle this question? So this question again, simple. Assign the Star Wars, right, data set to df. Okay, so this is standard one, right? Simple. Create a hair df. Okay, this is where it gets a bit tricky because we're asking to filter, but we're asking to filter more than one. So it's not like filter one, then do the other filter, right? This is a bit more where we use multiple filters within one. So the first one is brown, right? So we do brown. I like the way the brown counts out, right? Then or, remember the or function, then hair color double equals to black. Wow, I like the way that the black comes out like that, right? And then don't put comma, or I'm always used to putting comma, right? Hair color double equals to white. Simple. That's it. Now we just have to change this print all to hair df, right? Okay, let's do it one by one. And you can see hair df. So the hair df here should only be white, black, or brown. You can see it's all printed out. If you want to see it more neatly, you can also call out this. See the hair color is all brown, black, or white. Should not have any other color other than brown, black, or white for hair df. Okay, that's about it for dplyr. Actually, no, there's a lot more for dplyr, but for this segment, yes, there's a lot. That's about it covering, right? I want to move on to the next package, which is lubridate. So lubridate is where it's essential functions to work with. Sorry, yeah, just skim through so fast. Okay, so lubridate provides essential functions and methods to work with date and times, and I think date and times is very important because time series data, date and times, you need to know how to handle them, and lubridate is a very, very useful package in R for you to do such manipulations. So again, install.packages, type in lubridate, okay, and then call out the library, lubridate as well, right? So once you do this, you run this, and okay, so asking me to restart. Then we just restart it, just for the sake of restarting. Yeah, just let me restart, and then let me just call out the library. Okay, sometimes you need to restart because your system needs to have certain presets or whatever that you need to rerun. So it's better for you to restart it where required. Unless you have data, then you have to restart and run the whole thing, right? In my case, because it's quite clear, right? It's okay for me to, sorry. So I can do it. Okay, moving on. It's asking me to assign a variable date string with this value 20220808. So let me do that. It's all string 20220808. Then, I mean, this is quite simple, right? This is, you already know this is a what variable is this? So I will print, sorry, typo, date string, right? And I also want to see what is my my type of print type of date string, and then print class date string. Simple, right? And I just like to print just this, just to be a bit, clear that it ends there, So let me run the date string first. Okay, so it already registered the date string. It printed my date string. The type is character. The class is also character. Okay, then ends. That's it. Right? So that's basically about it. Just a simple creating just a string value, right? But now, what if we assign a variable date new with the ymd function? So let's try date new ymd function with date string as a input, right? And then we want to display the same thing again. This whole thing. Display this whole thing. But this time around, it's date new, not date string. So I change everything to date new. And I want to know what output it is. Right? So I run this first. So date new is already registered. Then it prints date new. You can see it's a bit different, right? It has dashes. It is like a date format, a clear date format, right? 2022-08-08. So it's kind of very datey format, right? It's a datey format. So you kind of guess what data format it should be. Type of is double, right? It's quite precision, right? It's a good precision. And the class is of date. Wow, not surprised, right? And obviously we end it off there to understand that that's it, right? So that's what a date variable looks like, right? One thing about date variable is you can extract features from a date variable, right? What do I mean by extract features? So let's create a variable called date new using the ymd function, and then we pass in 2022-08-08. So it's quite standard, right? We do this. And then we assign the variable date month. Date month. We do that. And then we extract month, date new from this, right? Now we want to display all this. Same thing, but instead we want to do it for date month instead. Want to print out date month, the type of date month, and the class of date month. Okay, let's do this. Let's assign date new first. Let's assign date month using the month function onto with date new as a parameter. And then we print date month, which is line number 92. And then we use the type of, you can see the date here is the month, the date month value is 8. The type of is double, not surprising. The class is numeric. So this is where you need to understand that when you extract a feature out of date month, it's no longer a date time variable. It's just a numeric variable. And a numeric variable can be from anywhere from 0 all the way until infinity, right? Also negative values or whatever, but in this case, it's a positive value. But it's going to be all the way until infinity. R already knows that actually, it's going to be a value from 0 to infinity. So it gives you a numeric value, right? Obviously, there's no month data type, right? There's a date data type, different from month data type. You can extract a month value from a date data type, but a month data type doesn't really give you much information. So that's something you need to understand. So in this case, yes, it's going to be just a numeric value. That's it, right? So that is the part about extracting the date, the month value from the date data type, right? So now let's find ways to calculate the difference between two date variables. So let's have one called date old. Okay, we create two, and using the YMD function, we pass in, okay, this is a bit tricky, 2020 0208. Okay, 2020 0208. And then we pass in date new, YMD 20220808. Wait, sorry, I must put them in strings. 20220808. Right? Okay. Now we assign a variable difference value. Difference value is equals to, now you're going to use an interval function. So you call the interval function out, and within the interval function, we pass in two dates, date old and date new, right? Date old and date new, right? And then we create so once you have a difference value, we find the difference month, right? Using the difference value. Okay, here is where you need to convert it to months. So we use the percentage divided by the percentage slash percentage in terms of months, 1, right? And then we display print difference month, right? Difference month. Let's make it S here because I think for consistency, let's make it S. Difference month, easier. Okay, so let's do it. Let's initiate the date old, the date new, done. The difference value interval also done. Difference months also done. Let's print the difference month. It's 30. So there's 30. So it's from 2020, the 8th of February, all the way until 2020, the 8th of August. So 2020, 8th of February to 2022, 8th of August, right? And the total number of months difference between them is 30 months. So you need to be very careful that here is 30 months. That's the difference, right? So that's how it's taking out the 2 days. So it's taking out from 2020, 02, all the way until 2022, 08, how many months has passed? So it's taking out 30 months. Okay, quick question for you to try out is for you to look at request a user to input their birth date in the format year, month, day. Okay, you can also ask them to input their current date, which is year, month, day. You can actually pull the date from the system date, but I'm not going to do that today. So I'm assuming that the user will put in the correct date, and then you'll display the age of the user in years. Okay, try it out, pause the video, try it out, and then we will come back to it as soon as possible. Okay, how do we tackle this issue, right? In this case, again, birth date, you just use a read line, right? me see. Read line. Not exactly. Let me just do it. Read line. Okay lah. Let's do them together. YMD read line. So they're quite lazy to type. Oops. Let's do it together, right? Please. Please. Let me just remove this here. Please enter your date of birth format. Okay, in this format, right? And then next step we have to do is we have to do current date, because you can't get date if you don't have current date, right? So again, YMD read line prompt, please enter today date format. Simple, right? Once this is done, you already got two date values. Difference value is equals to interval birth date and current date. So the later date is always at the end, right? And then we find difference years, right? Because I asked you to calculate in years. So difference value, this is the tricky part, divided by not months, years, 1. Right? Simple. Then you print difference years. Right? So let's run this. Okay, let's put this in as 2003-0103, which is the 3rd of January 2003. Right? That's the first one. Now, current date, again, I'm going to input 2023. Today's date is 0206. Okay, that's also saved. Find the interval. The difference value, done. Difference years, with the difference value, with the percentage sign, the pipe, with the slash in years, divided by years, 1. And then the value, which is 20. And that is correct, because it's 20 years difference. Right, so far, we are right. So we know how this works. Okay, that's it for lubricate. Again, I'm covering very basic. Okay, it's not in detail. So this is just some examples, right? Moving on to the next package, TidyQuant. So TidyQuant integrates the useful packages and libraries for gathering and reviewing financial data and analysis. And personally, myself, I love financial data, right? I have this newfound energy whenever I talk about financial data, right? So TidyQuant is a very useful library to pull data, to analyze data, so on and so forth. So in this case, I'm just going to teach you just one small aspect of TidyQuant, right? So here, I first install the library of TidyQuant. Then I call out the library of TidyQuant. Okay, there's some error here. Okay, don't know why I have this stuff. Okay, so let me do this. Oops, bracket. Okay, TidyQuant, run this. Okay, just let me restart. Okay, it's asking me to restart. Okay, if you ask me to restart, it's okay, because mine is not. Okay, restarted. Okay, let me load the library. Okay, so let me try this again. Let me load the library. Okay, it's done. Okay, simple extraction of stock price data from online sources. So how do we do a simple extraction? We assign a data frame stock Amazon. Okay, I hope everyone likes Amazon. If you don't like, it's okay, right? But yeah, Amazon, use the TQ get. Okay, so this will then go and get. So one important thing, when you're using this function, you need to have internet connection. That's number one. Number two, because it's using API, if you're using VPN, you might have a problem because your VPN might block the connection from our studio to connect and pull out this data. So you need to have try to use it without VPN. Some VPN does allow you, but usually when you use VPN, they try to block your connection. So that's another thing. You might also have certain restrictions in your home internet or something like that might also limit you from doing this kind of things. But usually, if you can access internet, this should be able to get you to get the data, right? So usually do it without any VPN, and you must have internet connection for you to do this as well. So I need to pass in the Amazon's code, which is AMZN, right, into this TQ get. That's all, and that will give me the Amazon stock prices for the last 10 years, if I'm not wrong. Let me see, yeah. Let me see how this works. So let me just, the last time I did it, it was the entire last 10 years of data. So print n equals to infinity, right? That's basically it. So let me run this. And I run this. Yep. So it prints out. Wow, 2020, 2023. So many data sets. So sometimes it's quite difficult to see in the console what is the data. So I go into this 2541. You can see it starts from 2013, the 2nd of January 2013, all the way until this year, 3rd of February, right? So yeah, it is about 10 years, about there. Okay, your task, request user to input your stock name in the format of Microsoft value, right? Microsoft dataset, assign a data frame variable stock df with tq get function with stock name as parameter. So the user input, so you want to use a read line function and try this out. Pause this and try this out, and then we will discuss very shortly. So how do we solve this? So basically it's quite simple. It's the same as the one earlier. So stock name, right? I'm just putting in an additional read line prompt, right? Prompt, please enter your preferred stock. That's it, right? I enter. Now stock df. I create the stock df because I don't know whether it's which stock you're going to key in, so I'm going to call it generically. It's a stock df, right? I'm going to use a tq get, and I'm going to pass in the stock name. Simple. After that, I'm going to print out stock df, the whole with the print option, and equals to infinity, just to print out everything, right? So let me run this, and here I'm going to type in ms, oops, not here, click here, type in msft. Okay, that's the first one. Second one here, get the stock data, and thirdly, print it out. So now you have all the MS Microsoft stocks. You can click here to see the stock DF and Microsoft stock all the way for the past 10 years as well, right? If you want to do Google, you also do the same thing. Run again. So Google, if I'm not wrong, the stock code is GOOG, right? And then click here again, run the stock DF, the TQ underscore get function, and then run the print the whole data set as well. So you have all the Google stocks. So you can also click here again, you see it's all the Google stocks. Obviously, it overwrites the Microsoft data set because that's how we have configured it as well, right? With that, we have come to the end of today's segment, right? Till the next lecture. See ya.